Welcome to the temporarily final weekly rarities update. Over the next 4 winter months, updates will be published monthly instead. More information about that at the end of the video. But first, let's dive into the birds. We begin this report with a possible Homeus grey shrike observed in the Veluwe region. This taxon is described, among other places, in the winter edition of the Challenge series books by Martin Garner. From west to east, grey shrike taxa gradually become whiter. The underside is whiter with less barring, the lores are lighter, the back is a paler grey, the rump is lighter, there's more white in the wings, particularly noticeable on the secondaries, and the tail also shows more white. The Homeus taxon is not the widest form, but is significantly wider than excubitor, which is the most common here. Due to the gradual transition between taxa, it's challenging to definitively identify a bird as a Homeus type. This bird appeared less convincing in some respects than the one seen at the Amsterdam water supply dunes earlier this year, but it's worth keeping an eye on the grey shrikes for the possibility of a northern grey shrike, which is considered a separate species and has been proven to occur here. The well-known rosy starling in Den Burg has made it to December and continues to enjoy its daily portion of peanut butter. I like peanut butter too, but eating it every day might be a bit too much. This bird was reported about 25 times this week. Check the December monthly overview to find out whether it was scared off by fireworks or if it makes it to 2025. Currently, there are still 2 hooded crows flying around in the Netherlands. One is reliably on Schiermonnikoog, and the other is in the Kwaardehoek area. This could very well be the same bird from Scheveningen and Hoek van Holland that has moved slightly south. Now let's talk about ducks. The only lesser scarp this week was the familiar bird at Vogelmeer in the Kennemer Dunes. Both ringneck ducks were also seen again this week. The bird from the Kennemer Dunes was now on the Dune Lake, while the other remains in Heerhugowaard. 2 American widgeons were reported as well, one in Spaanwouden and another near Vleuten, a spot where a bird was also seen last spring. However, the bird from North Brabant was not reported this week, so this could be the same individual. Or, as there were multiple last spring, we might discover in the coming weeks that 3 are in the country at the same time. Additionally, 4 long-tailed ducks were observed this week. One at the Mokbaai on Texel, one near Enkhuizen, one on Terschelling, and one at Balgzand. 2 swift species were reported this week. Both entered as presumed pellet swifts. The first was on the northern tip of Texel, where no distinguishing features were noted, except that it was a swift species. The other, near Nijmegen, wasn't photographed either, but was well observed, and the visible features strongly suggested pellet swift. Currently, 2 Hume's leaf warblers are present in the Netherlands, one in the South Holland Dunes, where the dark-sided flycatcher was, and another in a village in northern Groningen. If the latter sticks around until the new year, I'll definitely visit it, as I'm planning a year-list challenge for next year, but more about that later. There were also a few sightings of yellow-browed warblers, including 2 reports from the same patch of woods as the South Holland Dunes leaf warbler. Surely the observer didn't mix them up? A photo is said to exist, but hasn't been shared yet. No photos are available for the other sightings either. And the description don't rule out Humes. So who knows, there might secretly be more Humes leaf warblers in the country. 3 Siberian chiffchaffs were observed. One at Kornwerderzand, one near Alkmaar, and another in that same productive patch of woods where the dark-sided flycatcher was. The Richards pipit at Veersemeer was still present, with another report of a calling bird flying over Kamperduin. I'm curious how many wintering individuals we can find, and whether there's a Blythe's pipit hiding amongst them. Cornbuntings were still only reported in Limburg and Groningen. Given their inconspicuous nature and the winter habitat of farmlands, they can easily be overlooked. Zeeland is great for winter birding, with a good variety of species that are rare elsewhere in the country. This week, several red phalaropes were seen there. This species has consistently eluded me since I started filming, though I used to encounter them occasionally before. It's just a matter of patience. Also in Zeeland, a little auk was observed near Haamstede, last seen on the morning of November 30th. 2 hours later, much farther east, a dead little auk was found. It seems unlikely it could have drifted that far in such a short time, but it can't be ruled out. Other little auks were observed at IJmuiden, Texel, and Terschelling. True overwintering individuals are very rare. Earlier in this video, I mentioned pellet swifts. Belgium went a step further with a sighting of a white-rumped swift. Unfortunately, this bird couldn't be documented, so it remains uncertain whether the record will be accepted. In recent years, there have been multiple cases of this extremely rare southwestern European breeder in our region. Or could the ones we see in northwest Europe come from the African breeding grounds, as the horse swift on Schiermonnikoog did? For those interested in seeing the sandhill crane and northern mockingbird in Germany, they're still there. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for Poland's ivory gull, which was found dead last week. In eastern Germany, a spotted sandpiper was found, while Denmark's Steenager scoter was still there. In Scotland, the 10th record of American coot appeared. Surely we could find one here as well. It might just be a matter of thoroughly checking the coots, a fun task for the coming winter. For the next few months, I'll focus on monthly overviews. I use the extra time to work on videos that have been pending. In 2025, I plan to do a photo and video year list of at least 250 species. For context, this year, without focusing on a year list, but casually noting interesting species, I've seen around 220 species. I'll share more about this challenge later. For now, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.